we starting?
Yeah, off you go.
Do you know anything about video games?
No.
Well, we've got to cover the top 10 from this year.
From what year?
From 2016.
16?
Yeah.
Is that what we're in?
Yeah, 2016, mate.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, I think we've been trusted with 10 till 6.
Have we?
As in, like, the game number 10, game number 6.
Oh,
and
idiots.
that, like, bit in between.
And they trusted us.
I don't think I even know 10 games, to be honest with you.
I don't even count to 10 anyway.
We'll see how this goes.
Okay.
Today, this is it. It's the top 10.
The big one. The big 10.
Absolutely. So yeah, obviously we've had all of our categories so far, and this is where, again, essentially everybody voted for a top 10.
Yep.
And what we did was we collated all those and we put a score on them, and basically the highest score came top, and the lowest score of the 10 is at number 10. I think that was the fairest way to do it. If a game got the same score as another game, what I then did was said, right, how many people voted for it? And if more people voted for it, then that then came above. And then there was another few criteria which it would have gone down to. But fortunately, it was literally just kind of, this game got the biggest score. Then it was, okay, right, this game got the same score, but more people voted for it, so that's going to be higher.
Okay.
I think that was probably the fairest way to do it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, starting us off at number 10 is PES 2017. So, PES 2017 is possibly what I would consider to be one of the strongest PES games, if not the strongest, for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
We played it a hell of a lot. Prior to launch, we played it at E3, played it at Gamescom, and I think the changes between those builds and the final retail build were quite subtle. And then since then, we've obviously had a couple of other bits in terms of patches and things like that. And I think what's key about this one is that with PES, they haven't taken it and they haven't screwed the pooch with the updates like they did with, was it 2015?
Yeah.
So, 2015 came out, everyone loved it, and then the more they did to it, the more they tweaked the gameplay, and it just kind of detracted from what people really loved about it when it started. Yeah. However, with 2017, they've taken that feedback and they've gone, right, okay, you know what? Let's not tinker with the gameplay. Let's just get this out and let's get that perfected first off.
Yeah.
And they've hardly touched the gameplay, and it's all the better for it. Things like I keep forgetting the name of this, but is it the Real Touch?
Yeah, Real Touch, yeah.
Yeah, so the Real Touch system is great. You can be bombing it down the wing, you thread a ball through to somebody, and you can dictate which way the first touch is going to go, and everybody reacts to that independently. The animation is fantastic. I don't think I've seen this many animations in a game before, let alone a football game. And I think the wording that people use for PES is the goal feel. So when you score that goal, when you score that, that 85th minute goal where you just get in, nothing feels better than that.
Yeah, and PES has always been famous for that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So 2 days.
Yeah, and that's my take on it. I was a huge PES fan. I sort of lapsed. I still picked the game up, but ultimately, I sort of drifted away from football in general and football games, but this is really sort of clawing me back into it, and with good reason. But I know, obviously, Gary, you've sort of been, you've been a hardcore PES fan for many years, and yeah, so go through sort of your thoughts on 2017 and how it compares to the competition, obviously, and the good things about it, I guess.
Yeah, well, like you say, I've been a massive PES fan for years. I sort of went off the boil a bit on the PS3 because the games weren't up to the level that I sort of wanted from PES. I think we've all been a bit spoilt with the sort of earlier games on the PS2, which were absolutely incredible. And to be fair, they've sort of been making gradual sort of small steps since sort of PES 2015. 2016 was a good game. It still had issues, but PES 2017 is without a doubt, I personally believe, is the best football game you can buy at the moment. It's just a solid game. like you say, they've added so much like animations. There's more sort of shooting mechanics. Obviously, the licensing's still a bit of an issue, but to be honest, I don't really class that as a problem because of now you've got like option file sharing and that sort of stuff. But just
the
pure,
edit mode. The edit mode
Yeah.
in this year's PES is just
it's good.
it's
Very
it's
good.
ridiculously easy to kind of get past the licensing problem.
Yeah, definitely. But
I hear
from
there's a really good video on YouTube actually that people should check out if they want to check out the option file.
Yeah, apparently so. I've heard that as well. Plug. Yeah, so from a gameplay standpoint, it's fucking phenomenal. It is really, really good. Just the main thing that you get from playing it is just fun. It just feels very rewarding. And just, yeah, the mechanics are so much better this year. And obviously next year they're just going to keep on improving every year now, which is great news for us who have been waiting for a PES game to be this good for a long time.
Yeah.
PES 2017 is phenomenal. It's really, really good. FIFA is FIFA's had it their own way for quite a few years, and now with PES being this strong, I think it's time that this is the battle we've been waiting for a long time.
Yeah.
So now I think Konami have realised that they've got a special game on their hands, and they're just going to keep on pushing it. But yeah, PES 2017 is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
Absolutely, and I think it's deserving of a place on this list. And to be honest, it is one of those things where you think to yourself, okay, right, so do we put sports games in this because they're annual games, they're annualized franchises, but then at the same time that then knocks out Call of Duty and those sorts
That's
of games.
true. Yeah, very true.
And I think really it deserves a place on this list because it is a fantastic football game. It's easily the best football game that I've played in a very, very long time.
Definitely.
And it the same thing goes for friends as well. I think my friends have figured out that PES is the superior game in terms of gameplay to FIFA. In terms of modes, I think FIFA still has the edge.
Definitely, yeah.
Particularly, the things like they've done with the journey. I think a lot of people were sceptical about the journey and how it was going to be, but ultimately it's worked out well. And I think PES doesn't need to focus on that stuff. I think it's a football game. If you want to play a game of football on the PS4, you pick PES up. That's just feels great.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
So that's number 10. Number 9 is Doom. Now, Doom is fucking brilliant.
It looks fucking grotesque as well, which is awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot to love about Doom. Again, I think the only reason this didn't chart higher is because not that many people played it on the team, which is somewhat of a travesty. So, where are we looking? Robin said here, Doom, the granddaddy of them all, returned in fantastic fashion this year, proving that single-player shooters are alive and well. Doom 2016 is a fitting follow-up to the groundbreaking original, filled with some brilliant firefights and over-the-top action. This was a pleasant surprise after some of the ropey reboots we've had to sit through over the past years. And I think I would wholeheartedly agree with that. The interesting thing about Doom was just kind of the troubled development of Doom 4. Really kind of, we'd heard rumours and we'd heard things about Doom 4 for so long. Like, before I even joined the site, that there were rumours floating about. But when you start sort of speaking to folks, you kind of, within the industry, you sort of think, oh, okay, yeah, maybe Doom 4 is happening, and then there was that leaked trailer about, the reboot, which made it feel a lot like more Call of Duty, and it just looked like it wasn't going in the direction that it should have been. If anybody's interested, by the way, the Danny O'Dwyer No Clip video channel, he's done the most recent documentary as of the time of recording is actually on Doom 2016, and it's a fantastic watch. It really is. Like, he kind of goes through the history of Doom 4, the original council project, and then he goes into some of the level design and also some stuff about like the music of Doom, and I'm genuinely quite annoyed that Doom didn't win the best soundtrack of the year. That ended up going to Final Fantasy 15. But like the Doom soundtrack is phenomenal. Like the first scene in that game, when you get out of your sarcophagus, you smash a demon's head against the side of it, you pick up a gun, you shoot a couple of them. Like within 30 seconds, you're shooting stuff. It's like that's what I want from Doom. You get your suit, you jump into a lift, you go up the lift, and as you get to the top of the lift, the Marine cocks the shotgun in time with the music. It's like,
that's awesome.
Oh, it's perfect. Like, it's so good. And the way that game kicks off is just second to none. So, it was actually Johnny's Game of the Year. He's voted it top. He reviewed it for us. He gave it a 9, and he's gone back to it again. And he said it's just a fantastic game. So he said, the most gamey game of the year, a big dumb romp and one of the few successful revamps of an old property to capture the feel of the original. Manages to wring an awful lot of fun out of not much at all in the way of plot or ideas, and has an ending that shows you don't need hours of cutscenes and every voice actor available to make a gamer care about your protagonist. I've yet to get to the end, so that's why it didn't feature higher in my list, because I haven't yet finished it. But honest to God, it's so much fun. And it's going back to that word of fun. It really is. It's just a fantastic game to play through. So, if you haven't played Doom yet, I picked it up fairly recently, actually, for about £12.
Oh, wow.
So, it's well worth picking up.
Yeah.
That's Doom. I think the biggest thing about that, we also gave Doom our biggest surprise, and that was because of a number of factors, really. Like I say, the first thing was the Call of Doom, which was the nickname of the Doom 4, and then the reaction to the beta for Doom wasn't that positive, and also the whole debacle with Bethesda holding review copies, which kind of, as we found out recently, that's going to be their policy going forward. It seems like they've based that on the reaction to Doom, which I think is a very bad idea, but that's another podcast for another day. What I think's essentially happened is, like, I don't know whether they knew they were onto a good thing with Doom or whether they kind of lucked out, but ultimately, it's fantastic. It's such a good game, and it's got a worthy spot on this list.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So next up, we've got Gears of War 4. Again, one that I haven't yet played myself, and it's one that I think seems to be a story, as Robbins put it here, of evolution, not revolution. Gears 4 doesn't necessarily do anything mind-blowing, but it brings its fantastically balanced, hard-hitting gameplay to the Xbox One. Following the missteps of Judgment, the series has found its feet once again, and even though the story ends up feeling like little more for a setup for a new trilogy, the action's gripping from beginning to end. And I think that seems to be the consensus.
I was going to say, yeah.
I know when
I'm not a massive Gears of War fan. I like it, but it's not one that makes me go, I need to go out and buy it straight away. And that is partly the reason why I've not yet played it yet. It's on my to play list, but it looks good. But yeah, it's not one that I have to sort of play straight away. But I imagine it's going to be coming down in price pretty sharpish now. So
yeah, I was going to say that's kind of it's about £20, I think. And again, I think Nick put it on his list here, and he said the campaign's one of the strongest it's ever had, and the multiplayer feels like it's fleshed out and delightfully familiar. So the familiarity seems to be something that is being spoken a lot of, and it does seem like that it is that it feels like Gears, but it feels like it's more Gears, but it feels like it's the best Gears has been.
Yeah, fair enough.
Without reinventing the wheel. So I'm intrigued to play it, and I'm not going to lie, I have still yet to finish the original Gears trilogy. I've got the Ultimate Edition for the Xbox One, and the downloads there. So,
did you ever finish them when they originally come out, or?
No, that's the thing. I've not. I've yet to actually finish the originals completely. So that's probably going to be my post-Christmas sort of gaming feast, if you like. And we'll I'll probably pick up 4 at some point if I don't if Father Christmas doesn't bring me it. And yeah, like honestly, it's a great. It seems like it's a great entry in the series.
Yeah.
So next up, number 7 is Inside.
What a game!
So what a game indeed. This is I think this was the first or second of 3 10 out of 10s I gave this year. Now, Inside is a game that when you start it, you have absolutely no idea where it's going to end up.
Oh god, yeah, I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, so if you have yet to play or finish Inside, skip ahead probably about 5 minutes, because I want to talk spoilers, because I wanted to do a spoiler cast on this, but I never did. So yeah, just skip ahead 5 minutes, and yeah, let's talk Inside spoilers. That ending.
What the fuck? Yeah.
Holy shit.
You warned me about that ending, and I just didn't expect it still, and I was just like, what is going on?
Yeah,
what is actually going on?
Like when you go into the factory as the boy, you kind of you end up going underwater, and like you can't suffocate yourself, you can't drown, and as you're going underwater, you think, okay, this is pretty cool. Yeah, okay, I'll be up for this. And then you get to a point, you end up crawling inside this big vat.
Yeah.
And then you come out as this blob of...
blob of arms and legs, pretty much.
Yeah. I have genuinely never felt that unsettled playing a video game in all my years of playing video games.
It was so odd, though.
Yeah.
Like, it just come out of nowhere, really, didn't it?
Yeah.
And to be honest, even though I've finished it, I still don't know what the hell was going on.
No, I'm very much the same. I mean, it's just
so weird.
It's so disturbing, and I think some of the mechanics in the game as well. You lead up to that in such a subtle way, like that whole ending sequence. You don't realise it, but when you go back and analyse it, you think, oh, okay, yeah, that was actually leading up to it. Things like the mind control, like that.
Yeah.
That, as you go through that, and like the underwater mechanics and stuff like that, you don't realise just how much it feeds into that final segment.
Yeah,
until
because
you
the
get there.
Yeah, like the final section with the blob. What are we going to call it? Just blob?
Yeah, the blob.
Yeah. Obviously, you've got like arms and legs coming off it. Well, before that, you're using like the puzzle elements with controlling like I don't know, like say for example, you control like 10 different minds at a time. So in a way, it all ties together because those arms and legs are essentially arms and legs of the people that you've controlled before. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's
a weird one, but what a game that is! Absolutely stunning game.
Yeah,
like, and absolutely blew me away.
Yeah, I think in terms of the weirdness and in terms of the creepiness of that final bit, that added to what was already a very, very, very good game.
Yeah, definitely.
I think. We've spoken to some people and they've said like that they didn't necessarily get Limbo, or they didn't necessarily get Inside. It's like, okay, that's cool, like, but mechanically, if you look at that game, take it apart, there is not a moment in that game that's wasted. There is not, everything that's in that game has its purpose. Like you figure out that if you run down a corridor, or if you're running along a screen, like if you get to a certain point and you're getting ripped apart by a dog, like that's one thing as well to mention. The deaths in this game are fucking brutal.
Yeah, those dogs scared the shit out of me a few times, I must admit.
Like, you get to a point and all of a sudden your stomach's been ripped out, or you've been... you're walking along a gangway and then there's like a big sound wave that knocks you off and makes your body explode. It's kind of it's the attention to detail in the little things that really elevate the game. And to be honest, the mechanical side of it, like I say, is just so incredibly detailed. Like you can every animation feels like it's got a point to it. Everything that happens, like if you get into a room, you think, okay, right, how am I going to get past this room? What's the puzzle in it? If you play through that room, like every puzzle is so perfectly designed that
Brilliantly designed,
yeah, you don't get frustrated with it. You get to the point just bordering on the edge of frustration, and then you go, oh shit, yeah, there's that bit. And then you go there and you press the button, or you move the thing in the right way, and then all of a sudden everything becomes instantly clear. There's no point where you think, right, I know exactly what I need to do here, but I just can't do it. Whether it's because of the controls, or whether it's because of the environment, or whether it's because I can't physically do the thing that I need to do. It's like everything exists there for you to do exactly what you need to. You've just got to figure it out, and that's the best kind of puzzle. It doesn't make you feel stupid when you can't get it, but when you do get it makes you feel incredibly smart. And
I thought the puzzles were incredible, to be honest. Because like you say, they're not frustrating, but you still need to think about it. And then once you actually complete a puzzle, you think, shit, that was pretty straightforward, but I still needed to think slightly like ahead. How am I gonna do this? But you say, it wasn't. I nearly said disappointing. Like the word disappointing and inside shouldn't go together. The puzzles weren't frustrating at all. And yeah, that whole game. Like I wasn't really expecting much, because I was one of them gamers that didn't really like Limbo. I thought it was good, but I wasn't blown away by it. And Inside, I know, like you and Johnny you'd done a video about it, like when it first was released, and I thought, oh, this looks interesting. And then I literally bought it about a month ago. I just thought, you know what, let's just give it a go. And that is one of my highlights of 2016, without a shadow of doubt. And that is why I put it at number 2 on my list.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What a game that is. Absolutely. Like we said, it's weird, but look past that, and it's definitely one of the highlights of the year for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think, the thing is, it took probably 6 years, I think, to come out. Was it 6 years? They took a long time to develop this game, but every minute is visible in that game. Like, you can't... Like, technically, I think it's perfect. I didn't have any bugs. I didn't have any frame rate problems. I didn't have any technical issues whatsoever. Like, the sound design is superb. Literally every single part of that game has been put together with so much care and attention. Yeah,
the look of it as well, like the art style is stunning.
It's gorgeous.
Well.
Yeah. Absolutely gorgeous. So that is our number 7, which is Inside. And to wrap us up for today, we've got our number 6, which is The Division. So The Division came out and sort of passed me by.
Me too.
Initially, initially at least, I sort of... I wasn't too keen on the idea of picking it up, because the initial reviews were like, oh, it's like Destiny but third person. I was like, yeah, okay, maybe not. Then I bought it, and I got really, really sucked into it. Like, it kind of took over our gaming group. We have a group that we play Siege with, and a load of other stuff, and it took over that group for the best part of, well, however long we played it for. It was probably about a month, and that was it. Like, I'd come home, I'd turn the PS4 on, I'd play The Division for a bit, we'd pick up some new loot, and then that'd be it. But once I hit level, I think I'm still level 27 or 28 now, it didn't keep me coming back for more. There were some really good ideas in there, and I think that was one of the things that people voted for in this. Like Matt's put in here that it was an awesome game from the start of the year. Getting you to play with random people to complete the different missions was a really fun and clever mechanic, and I think that's probably fair. Like, you go into it and you go to the start point, you hit a button, and it automatically matchmakes you with people on of a similar level to go through the game. And I know that's a common thing, but ultimately, like you've got a lot more. You've got more of a common goal, if you like, rather than just matchmaking and off you go, shoot each other in the head. I was impressed with it for the time I played it. It just didn't grab me and it didn't keep me for that long. So let's have a look. Deb's also put The Division. What compelled me this time was the story behind the shooting, a devastating disease that swept over New York City, and the knowledge that I had friends and family that I could depend on to go and help fight alongside me. At first, it was daunting and it took some time getting used to it, but as I made my way through the campaign and with a little more time, soon got the grasp of the mechanics and the customization, finding the best gear that suited my playstyle. The world itself was beautifully rendered despite the grim circumstances. In fact, it really hit home how bleak things have become, and that gave me the motivation to press on past my somewhat lacking skills. May not be perfect, but it was the first time I was able to find my place in a shooter, and thanks to some co-op action. And again, I think that's a fair comment. Like the world of The Division does look absolutely beautiful.
It's really cool.
Yeah, like it's a huge world. Obviously, it's New York. It's not quite 1-to-1 in terms of New York, but it's near as damn it. Like it really is.
It's as close as you're going to get to it, I think.
Yeah, and I think one of the cool things about one of the interesting mechanics in the Division was the Dark Zone. Now the Dark Zone, awesome. Yeah, like that was so much fun. In fact, it was so much fun, and it was so frustrating at times. Sorry, that I may have broken I may have broken a couple of USB cables. At one point, I had the controller wired into my PS4 because I needed to charge the controller, and I got so annoyed that I kind of didn't throw the controller down, but I sort of forced it down. Yeah, and it bent the USB cable, the USB micro end, to the point where it was no longer usable.
So is that like the 2016 equivalent of like trying to snap a controller when you was like 15? Because I remember those days.
Yeah, it was the equivalent of throwing the controller across the room when playing Pez.
Amazing.
Yeah. So Neves said here that The Division's a game that he's just got into, but after many hours already, I'm so glad I did, and should have done sooner. It's a fantastic online game, even better when you're playing with friends. So there's no time. He says there's no better time to jump in because of the support that's been given. I would potentially disagree with that, only because the support after a certain point got a little bit ropey, and I didn't necessarily. There were some patches that needed putting out, and I think the PC version is still a bit of a fucking mess by all accounts. But
are they still supporting it as we speak? Like now, are they still releasing like new packs and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, my understanding is there's actually been a fairly large patch recently, which fixes a lot of problems that people had. It's not. Apparently, the numbers have gone back up to kind of around launch numbers.
Oh wow!
Because of the patches that they've put out and the changes that they've made to the game. So, I'm really intrigued to get back into it, but I know it's going to take me a long time to relearn a lot of the mechanics that I've forgotten, and possibly convince others to do so. So yeah, that is our Game of the Year 10 through 6. Join us tomorrow, and we will go through our numbers 5 to 1. Where we'll determine what is NGB's Game of the Year 2016.
So that was it. That was our 10 till 6. So what do you think, Johnny? What was number 10?
Number 10. Mate. Pez.
That's it. Yeah. You're not even a football game person either.
I'm not, but I just like the Pez.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Number 9. Doom.
Doom should have been number 1. I'm not going to stop fighting this fight.
Brilliant game, wasn't it? Brilliant game, absolutely.
I'm going to have a protest.
Yeah. So number 8. What do you think? Well,
it was Gears of 4, wasn't it?
Gears of War.
Gears of War 4. Gears of War.
I haven't played Gears for years.
I haven't got an Xbox, mate. No one else.
Neither have I. Not really.
So...
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
Number 7 was Inside.
I liked Inside.
I have never played Inside, actually.
It's like a platformer, but a really miserable one.
Is it?
It's just really black and grey.
I don't fancy playing
Better than it sounds.
Oh.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
And number 6?
The Division.
Love that game.
Is that one of yours?
Good Tom Clancy one, that is. Yeah, brilliant. It was definitely in my top 5 anyway.
Yeah.
That was our top 6 anyway, so stay tuned for the top 5.